Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of EggWars. Glad to see ya. I hope you are finding the beginning of your week to be doing you well so far. You know, I just got up, did a fresh shower. Ooh, I hope I look decent. You know, my hair is getting a little bit shaggy, but I don't really want to go to the barber when I got my broken foot, so I'm kind of putting it off. We're going to see how it's going to go, but it is so early in the morning. You know what? Before I get into anything, I gotta have that sip. I gotta have the sip. What do you have today? Oh yes, today we have the Ultra Blue sip, and I can't tell you, I mean, I just don't think I've had enough real deal sips in a long time. I mean, every time I come around to another sip, I'm like, shit, I don't even remember how it tastes, or I think I do, and I don't actually remember how it tastes, so I'm not even gonna fraud. I'm not gonna front. I don't even know what this is gonna taste like, so I'm just gonna get right into it, because I just know that I need a little bit of that sip in my system. I guess, it has what I would call like a blue flavor. Yeah, I don't know, it's so weird, cause like, we're so conditioned to these artificial flavors and like, artificial colors for all this junk food that we've had growing up. It's like, when I drink this, it just tastes like what I would imagine blue would taste like. I don't know. It's got like a little bit of like I would call like a blueberry flavor in a way. Like it, not like, but like an artificial blueberry flavor. So I guess that's the best I can say on that. Alright. And also, of course, we gotta announce today's copy of Neckbeard's winner. That would be Kevin Maddock, the OG, the legend, with his comment, Ramirez Gonzalez Turbenstein. Excellent comment. Beautiful. And also today, I want to give a very special shout out to a very special person who I talk with frequently, who I think is just in need of some cheer lately. And she goes by the name of Boo. So I constructed this small little ditty to lift the spirits. And this could be for anybody. You know, it's a good little tune to start your morning on this Monday off right. Now, I just woke up, so my voice is probably gonna sound like shit. Let's find out. Boo 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 boo. Boo 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 boo. Oh my dearest, lovable Boo, you bring us cheer with the things that you do. You put a smile upon our faces and bring us to our happy places. Okay, that wasn't too bad. So I hope y'all are in your happy place this morning, because I'm about to talk about some shit that's gonna put me in a not so happy place. So that's the little come up I get. That's the little smelling salt I get of the happiness right there before we get started. So today we're going to talk about a couple things, and one of those was something that just happened last night. You know, I could have done EggWars last night. I really could have, but I kind of just was fucking stalling on it. And it's almost, I guess, good that I did, because it's going to bring up some important things I want to talk about today in regards to my old stomping grounds of Minnesota. And this is going to go with some stuff that's been happening there lately as far as elections are concerned, just some of my own anecdotal experiences. But before I get into that particular topic, I want to start off excuse me, by revisiting a topic that I've already talked about previously, and I believe it was EggWars 14 that I talked about, because it was Blade Runner and Californians Gone Wilder, and I believe I kind of talked about Scott Wiener decriminalizing sex offenders and decriminalizing the transmission of HIV in that video. But I also talked about, I segued into it a little bit, but the Harvey Weinstein situation, because the Harvey Weinstein situation was pretty new at that time. It was pretty fresh. And so I was like, you know, and at the time, my take on that was totally just, hey, Harvey Weinstein and all these Hollywood people, they're all a piece of shit. They're all, you know, fucking probably doing human sacrifices in Bohemian Grove, like Alex Jones told us about years and years ago, all that shit. I'm sure they're probably doing all that. They're not anything good. You know, I firmly believe that, and I'm like, fuck them, you know, whatever. They can all go down for all I care. But, now that was, you know, I mean, that's gotta have been like a month ago now, hasn't it? Which is wild. But, you know, lately, I guess, really, I don't know, it's hard to keep track of these fucking sexual assault claims. There's actually just so many, and they're continuous. It's like, I mean, you can wake up every single day, and there's some new person who has been accused of raping somebody, or grabbing somebody's titties, or ass, or whatever. I mean, you have fucking, you know, Kevin Spacey is supposedly getting it busy with these little boys. You have motherfucking Herbert Walker Bush going around. He's wheeling around in his little robot chair like Stephen Hawking and fucking just grabbing cheeks. You know, he's going wild. Really call him. They gave him some fucking stupid name. And the thing is like, these stories only will last for like a day because it's so continuous. It's like every single day. It's like, oh shit. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, so it's like, it's just fucking crazy, and it's still, my stance on it is still, I'm obviously still like anti-Hollywood, and you know what, if these people go down, if these people are getting exposed, you know, Charlie Sheen, you know, with his accusations of, child molestation and these things, I mean, that's not shocking to anybody, I think, at this point in time, since he had his whole fucking cocaine-fueled drug meltdown, he was fucking doing sex tapes, sucking dick for crack, and now you're gonna be like, oh my god, I can't believe he would have, you know, sexually assaulted a child. I mean, it's, everything fits, you know what I mean? Like, there's no shocking aspect here. The only shocking aspect is people don't want to, you know, people put such stock, they put such of an investment into these fucking people whose job is just to play a role, play a character, you know, basically do a little song and dance, the bread and circuses, you know what I mean? So that, I mean, like, which I don't take any, it's not me, you know, even people, like, a lot of people I talk to are like, you know, they love the new Blade Runner movie, they love Drive, they think Ryan Gosling, you know, he had a childhood, you know, that's like, on record, you know, he was kind of, our guy, so to speak. And that's fine, you know, Mel Gibson, Ryan Gosling, you know, Clint Eastwood, I mean, there's people out there that have been in the movie biz, cause this, I mean, the things that they're talking about with harassment and all that shit, it's gone on since forever, you know, they used to, back in the olden days, you know, women needed male chaperones to be kind of accosted around these movie sets and these movie negotiations, and so on and so forth. I mean, even there was something I watched the other day about Shirley Temple and fucking guys, you know, she was doing these videos and these movies, you know, in the 30s where guys were just doing all this weird shit. It was just a lot of weird stuff going on, but, you know, you had cultural differences, or I shouldn't say generational differences, maybe, where, you know, a chick getting, you know, slapped on the ass or whatever. I mean, even in the 70s, 80s, like, that still wasn't even a big deal at all. So, I mean, there's certain things to consider, but anyway, I saw some of the most outrageous shit yesterday that is, I mean, I didn't think I could get any more shocked, and that's the thing, is like, I'm not shocked about the things that are happening. I'm shocked about some of the things that have, you know, like Kevin Spacey just being like, oh yeah, you know, yeah, fuck, dude, I was going around, I was being a child molester, but hey, but I'm gay though, so sorry, I'm out, a peace, you know, that's my fucking, I'm putting up, I'm a paladin popping bubble, whoop, oh, you can't touch this, baby, woo, 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 I'm a gay, yeah, you know, some crazy shit like that. I was just like, what the fuck, you know, but I saw some shit that just went out of the park yesterday with fucking George Takei. Now, if you don't know, he got, the thing is that this is fucking already a ridiculous claim that the guy who's coming out and saying, oh, George Takei, he fucking, I woke up and he was fucking, you know, he had the chopsticks out with my motherfucking egg roll, he was trying to bon appetit, you know, but the thing is that this shit happened in 1981, okay? That was 36, almost 37 years ago, alright? Like, there's probably the majority of people who are going to be watching this video were not even alive when this supposedly occurred. I mean, George Takei is fucking old, alright? So this claim is already so thin and so ridiculous that just off of the thing, because if you don't know about George Takei, which I'm going to assume you probably do, but just for the record, you know, he was in Star Trek, and the thing is that he's, over the years, he's been like this flamboyant, gay, non-white man who has a tie to nerd culture. So this combination of things makes him like this, oh my god, dude, whoa, he's like the coolest, he's gotta be cool and gotta fucking endorse every goddamn leftist thing. He's gotta be like, every single day he's gonna be like, yo, fuck Donald Flump, oh yeah, we're at Gay Pride 2017 today, I'm here with these small children and I'm fucking, I got my fucking gimp suit on and whatever they do, so because of his continued need to virtue signal continuously and be like this, like Will Wheaton, like, this fucking disgusting piece of shit who just happens to like have like a small thread tied to like this fucking bug man, soylent, disgusting, consumerist, culture, and I use that term loosely. He gets fucking trotted out every single time to just be like, oh, he said it and he's gay and he's not white, so he's like a gay double minority and whoa, and it's so cool and he just knows everything. And, so he gets accused of, basically rubbing some guy down in his sleep in 1981. So that's just, who really gives a fuck, honestly? I mean, that's so old, it's just ridiculous. I'll give him that, alright? But then he comes out and he issues a statement about it and he's like, oh, listen, I've been in a committed relationship with another man for 30 years, and I don't even know this guy who says this, I don't know anything about it. Okay, you know what, he probably didn't even really need to address it, but just the fact that he basically, like, totally is like, yo, that guy's a fucking lunatic, he's making up some bullshit, okay, that's probably good enough, honestly, okay, there you go, like, the dude's probably, if it was that serious, he's not gonna fucking wait 36 years, don't give me some fucking bullshit about, oh, I just couldn't do it! I couldn't do it because there wasn't other people talking about it until now, so I needed to just talk about it right now. Like I said, I'm cool with Hollywood getting fucking tossed in the trash. That's great. But you're not. You're not. You're full of shit. It's bullshit. You're so fucking full of shit, You could have, like, legitimately came out and played this off, and I'm gonna get to this in a minute, but you could have played this off easily 20 years ago, at least. But, so he comes out and he issues this statement. But then yesterday, and I'm glad, I would not have even believed this if I didn't see it for myself. If I hadn't caught this with my own eyes before it was deleted off of Twitter, I wouldn't even have believed how ridiculous this bullshit is. But he came out and he was like, oh, I'm not saying, I'm not trying to say anything exactly, but my friend, he keeps track of the Russian bots. He keeps track of the Russian bot network, and you know what? The Russian bot network, they used their bot network to increase the attention on this story by, like, 20,000%. So, really nobody even cares, and really it didn't even happen, or anything like that, but really, it was the Russian bots who are putting this into your brain, The Russian bots are trying to, the Russian flumpy, drumpy bots are trying to put it into your brain that I did this. It's like, dude, you could have just not even touched the fucking story anymore. Like, okay, you shut your fucking mouth, you maybe let your PR person or somebody handle it, but you already touched on the fucking subject. Shut the fuck up. Nothing is gonna make you look better. You coming out and being like, oh, well, really, the real reason why you saw that trending on the Twitter moments, it was flumpy drumpy bots. Actually, nobody who has ever supported Donald Trump even actually exists. It's actually the flumpy bots. They hacked Twitter, and, cause Twitter's the neo-Nazi platform for Nazi Twitter flumpy Russian bots, and buzzword, and you could have just shut the fuck up. You could have just shut the fuck up, dude. And you would have probably, but now, you did that, and then, yes, he went back and deleted the tweets. He went back and deleted the tweets again after he posted this ridiculous bullshit that only makes him look 100% guilty of that, and maybe worse, because, this thing was already so thin and so stupid and so nothing, this fucking 40-year-old bullshit that's totally, who cares? It looks to me like you're trying to essentially put some defense out ahead of time. Like you're like, you're like, oh shit, what if the next thing comes out now? What if this comes out now? I gotta have something out there that says, oh, the Flumph bots did it. The Twitter Nazi bots. They're the ones who did it. It wasn't me. I swear. It was them. And then, I guess, I did it, but I'm not a bad guy, and also, speaking of that defense, where essentially it's like, oh shit, yeah, I did it, but don't look at me. Don't say anything bad about me. Louis C.K., shout out to my boy Carlton Autism. If you're on Twitter, you gotta make sure you're following my boy Carlton Autism. He's like one of the number one tweeters, and he has been for a long time from what I understand. I haven't used Twitter that long. I'm gonna be 100% real with you, but I hear his history is quite speaking for itself. But I guess he'd been basically calling out Louis C.K. for jacking off and blocking doors to jack off in front of women for like over a year or maybe more. And so this comes out and it's like, oh yeah, he does that. He basically goes and he's like, hey baby, I want to jack off in your face. And they're like, no, that's fucking disgusting. And he like, he did that and like got denied and then was like, oh, okay. But then he also like he was apparently like just like standing in front of doors, just being like, just fucking going at it, just beating that goddamn. I was calling him the Mexican meat massager, and actually it was because I was influenced by fucking Carlton's tweets to get this idea in my head. This is before it was even out. I posted this last month. But anyway, so his movie gets canceled, and he's like, oh yeah, I did that, but I'm just basically going to shut the fuck up now, and hopefully people just kind of forget about this. It's pretty much the way that he's gone about it. But he did get accused before. He's been accused multiple times from what I understand, but he had just issued a statement, something like in September, where he was like, oh, it's a bunch of bullshit, it never happened, it's total bullshit. But now, now that there's this tidal wave of revelations going on, he's like, oh, okay, yeah, I did that shit. It's like, oh, oopsie, yeah, I did that. I don't know, man. It's fucking ridiculous. I feel like there was somebody else, too. Who else? I don't know. I'm sure there's gonna be plenty more. And the thing is like, I think the immediate thing to take away from all of this, which I have found to be the most effective thing to take from this, is, okay, we might see another 100 celebrities all get thrown in the fucking fire for being pedophiles or sexual harassers or whatever. You just need to keep this in mind. This goes for anybody Hollywood, any of these people, and the thing with like the male feminists too, how these male feminists are supposedly, there was some guy who I just saw who like just got accused of like 3 more rapes, who was like some male feminist guy. These male feminists, these celebrities, they come from like this cushiony background, everything's all given to them, they don't know anything, their fucking minds are all warped, they're probably getting fucking, if they're Hollywood, they're probably getting raped to even get a spot. They're going in, they're already perverted, okay? They're perverted people. And I want to clear this up a little bit, because I was thinking about this earlier, If I'm a guy, and I'm walking down the street, and I see some chick with her ass hanging out of her pants, she's got a fucking G-string on, and she's wearing like some goddamn spandex pants or something, and I look at her ass, and I'm like, damn, that's what's up. That's that booty, I'm not a butt guy, but just for an example. She goes, oh my god, you're looking at my ass, you're a pervert, You need to think about this. I'm not actually a pervert. If I look at a girl's ass, or her breasts, or whatever, her hips, anything like that, and they're like out there like that, and I'm looking at that, and I'm like, oh damn, that's nice, I am not a pervert. I'm actually the opposite of a pervert, because that is my natural biological function. That is my natural instinct to be attracted to a healthy female of breeding age, with breeding characteristics like large breasts or wide hips. It is actually the female who is being the pervert, because she's perverting the social norms by wearing indecent clothing in public because, it feels good or whatever the case might be, And so this is the thing you need to understand about Hollywood people. It's not that they're necessarily, we're looking at like them groping on women or whatever, or them trying to jack off in front of women or whatever, like that. And when we say Hollywood people are perverted, they're doing some real sick shit. This is like the fucking mild heat, you know what I mean? A guy, grabbing on a girl's butt cheek, or that's the real mild heat. They don't want to tell you about the fucking gay Luciferian orgies and blood sacrifices and all the different kinds of fucking really bad shit that's out there. They don't want to tell you about that shit. So this is like the mild heat. When I say Hollywood's perverted, I'm talking about some wild shit that is probably, Charlie Sheen molesting Corey Haim is probably like the the hottest heat of the real perversion that's even, been gracing my timelines or anything of that sort. But I was gonna say, when we go back to George Takei, okay? He wants to really be like, oh shit, no, that's not me, right? We've all seen the fucking Howard Stern clip where he basically goes up to the dude and starts fucking groping his dick on camera, and he's like, ooh, 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 ooh. And then we have his whole image for the last however many years. Okay, flamboyant homosexuality has been having a direct correlation with perversion since, and that's what they fucking base their identity around, is perverse sexual acts. Perverse sexual behaviors is what they, when they base their whole identity around their sexuality, and it's an abnormal sexual perversion, you know what I mean? How are you supposed to go back and be like, oh gosh, yeah, I was going around and jacking off random guys on fucking camera and whatever, but, I would never do something so obscene as to, in the 80s with totally nobody knowing and nobody around or any sort of, precedent whatsoever to just go and grab some model's dick through his pants. Oh gosh, no, I would never do that. It's like, really, dude? Really, when you're going around and you're fucking wearing your little rainbow tiara and your little rainbow dress or whatever, and you're going around and you're a running joke for however many years for being super flamboyant, limp-wristed, oh, hello, I'm George Takei, your little fairy sissy boy, all of a sudden then some guy's like, oh yeah, he fucking groped my dick, cause, his whole thing is being a goddamn, wearing a fucking dildo on his head and fucking going around and dancing in leather gimp suits in the street, and you're just gonna be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you would think I would do such an obscene thing. It's like, dude, I mean, does anybody really buy this bullshit? I mean, really? You had you could have fucking built your legacy off of, a great established film career, but you're always gonna be that gay Asian dude from Star Wars or Star Trek, you know what I mean? That's it. You're gay Asian man. Woo! There you go. That's your fucking legacy, cause you go on motherfucking Twitter with your drumpy flump bots, and you fucking shitpost all day about how you're gay Asian, and so you totally, anything else, except when you're fucking paraded out as lay epic nerd man, nobody cares. So all these fucking Hollywood people are sick. They're disgusting pieces of shit. They're all the worst kind of people. The hysteria is insane. I will say that much. It's crazy. We're probably gonna see you already can't keep up with it. It's just fucking ridiculous, but they're also still all pieces of shit. So I just thought that was just totally stupid. I'm waiting to see the next thing that's gonna top just how fucking stupid that defense of innocence was. Alright, but now on to the other thing I was going to talk about. So yes, last night, my old stomping grounds, the state of Minnesota. Another Somalian Muslim terrorist stabbing attack. Although I will say this much, from what I understand, now there is more out, more of the story's out. I read it, and essentially, it was blurry at first. There was one person stabbed, 3 people stabbed, but they did come out with a motive. And it was I'm not even gonna try and pronounce his name. We'll just call him Ahmed, cause his name's Ahmed, but it was Ahmed thrown into a blender. It's like Mahmed or some dumb shit. These names, you don't even know. I've seen fucking Somalians in Mumu and Mimi and fucking, I don't even know, but they're all usually named Yusuf, Ahmed, Mohammed. Just my experience. I used to have to live around a lot of these people. But here's what I think, okay? Now, I don't necessarily think that it's anything ISIS related. What it sounds like to me in the story is that this guy, he's a thief. He's a criminal thief. He basically saw a couple nice, young, white men, trying on some clothing, and he basically fucking, these people, people always peg me as a racist because I'm not afraid to say some shit that comes off as racist, you know what I mean? But I'm just telling you the facts from, I have actually good friends who are Somalian, so it's I don't want to be all, but I'm obviously, no matter what, I am totally 100% against multiculturalism. I think it's a total disaster that will never work, and I think that the Mall of America, I haven't been there in quite some time now. It's probably been since last year, because I'm not living in Minnesota right now. I'm in the Midwest, I'll say that much, and I could get to Minnesota with relative ease if I'm so inclined, but in any case, the Mall of America is a good example because it's a big, draw for a lot of people. So you have a lot of people, and there's a lot of Hmong, which are like, basically like Southeast Asians or whatever. There's a lot of that in Minnesota, a lot of Somalians, and then just a lot of, if you go to the mall, it's just a lot of, it's mall stuff, it's like I don't know, it's just, it's not really my jam, I'll say that much. But basically, yeah, they were trying on their clothes or whatever, and he goes into their fucking dressing rooms and basically tries to stick them up and rob them, which is really a horrifying thought, honestly. Just to be honest with you, like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some inside jobs going on there, because some of these clerks, like, they just don't, they have like this zombie appearance, these Somalians, because they come in, fresh off the boat, and they sit around and they kind of look like this. And their fucking hairline starts like 8 feet down their neck, So I wouldn't be surprised if somebody kind of like gave them the green light to go in and start shanking people. But, and the thing is like, for God's sake, he's doing it at this store that's right by the Santa line, and it's like, it's nothing sacred. These people, they don't understand anything. Their IQ is so low. Their brain function is so low. They're just like, they don't know anything. The only thing in their brain that they know how to do is wear donated clothes and carry around AKs like they're still in the fucking war zone, you know what I mean? Like, they can't understand, you have nice, wholesome families of, I assume probably a few, there's probably white, Asian, Hispanic, Christmas is something that a lot of people can enjoy, it's just a nice holiday, even if it's all fucking PC and watered down to be like a happy holiday, you can't say Christmas, okay. But it's fucking Santa Claus, man, and the dude's over at the store right next to Santa Claus fucking shanking people, trying to rob them and shit in dressing stalls. It's ridiculous. It's sickening, honestly. It's just disgusting. And it goes to show you this breakdown, this cultural melting and this cultural deterioration, disintegration, I mean, can you imagine? I mean, I'm gonna be 26 years old in 3 weeks, and I mean, I can only imagine just how sickening and how sickened, these children. I mean, I'm obviously a little bit lost for words right now, as you might be able to tell. Just imagine being, I remember going when I was a child, and my family was from Wisconsin, so we would go to Wisconsin to see Santa at the town hall, because there was like 200 people in the town that my parents were from. So like, Santa would just go to town hall, and they'd post up, at the bar, they'd post, oh, Santa's gonna be at town hall on Sunday, whatever, and we'd all go, and everybody would get their picture taken with Santa. I mean, it was good. It was wholesome, rural, I was afraid of Santa Claus a little bit. I've always been afraid of weird stuff. I was really afraid of Barney. I was really afraid of Big Bird from Sesame Street. I used to have nightmares about Big Bird and Elmo, like, killing me in my sleep when I was a little kid. Kind of weird. I probably watched a horror movie or something that I shouldn't have seen, because I don't know how else I would have that imagery in my head. But, it was a good wholesome thing. But now you got, somebody bringing their kid to see Santa Claus, and there's fucking murder going on right next to it. There's some goddamn guy who doesn't speak any English. He speaks click-clack. If you never had to hear Somalian, I've lived in Minnesota, and they had on the front page of the newspaper once. Now, I lived in St. Cloud, which I do believe at this time, like the school, like I think it's like the K through 5 schooling, that young age of schooling is like 30% African in St. Cloud. That city is gonna just end up being, I don't even know what. Like, I'm surprised that this was at the Mall of America. Well, I shouldn't say that, because it was just it was more of like a robbery, it seems like, for this. I mean, there could be more to it that they're trying to obscure, but it seems to me, I could see it being just like a robbery situation. Whereas St. Cloud, Minnesota is definitely a hotbed for ISIS. There's no doubt about that. I mean, you can't have, the city approaching, in 30 years, if the city's going to be, 60% Somalian and Islamic, I mean, it's pretty much over at that point. That's going to be South Africa tier at that point, if there's even any law left to try and keep that from happening. I don't know. But, I mean, yeah, the signs of this language, like on the front page of the St. Cloud newspaper last year, it actually said, like, stop trying to make Somalians write the language down. It is not a written language. It is only spoken, because they'll try to write it down, and it's just ridiculous. It's like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious tier language. You just can't even fucking understand any of it. Anyway, but my point, I guess I want to get to here is, this is probably going to get swept under. It's probably not going to be a big deal. The Alex Jones indie folk parody song where they talk about the mall stabbings has been given some new life. But coming from living in Minnesota, and especially in the city like that, Minnesota, you have like the worst combination of people because Minnesota is considered to be like this refugee holy land. First off, because of the Hmongs, which I'm going to say, hey, you know what? Hmongs are like the only Asian chicks that exist in Minnesota. And so we gotta maybe throw one bone there because there's probably some hot Hmong chicks that are weebs. And it's dry up there, okay? There's not a lot of hot Asian pussy up there. We gotta throw a bone. Alright, maybe, okay. Well, they're still criminals. They're still not good people. But we're gonna, maybe a little bit could be okay. Just a little bit just for the weebs, alright? We need, it's too dry up there, okay? Anyway. So you have that, and then you have the Somalians, but they're brought in as Democratic voters by these shell organizations who pose as right-wing religious groups. If you look into these Lutheran groups, they bring in all these Africans, and their purpose is to get more Democratic voters, but they masquerade as these groups that are like religious. So you have essentially it's left-wing and left-wing, in paradise, but it's like left-wing and like left-wing pretending to be right-wing, so you can't you can't argue either way, otherwise you're gonna fucking step on somebody's toes. So you have like these refugee populations who are very they don't do anything besides fucking soak up money, and they can't drive for shit. Hmong people and Somalians cannot fucking drive for shit. They should all have their fucking licenses permanently revoked forever. I cannot tell you how many times I almost got fucking killed because these fucking retards cannot drive for shit. They will fucking just T-bone through fucking red lights. They don't fucking know anything. They can't speak any fucking English. They speak click-clack. They wear goddamn carpets over their heads. It's not a good combination, alright? To get it through your fucking head. But you have these immigrant populations, and the white liberals in Minnesota are some of the worst in the country. I don't know how to explain this enough. And it's sad because, the rural people who I know from Minnesota, you have your more northernmost people who are used to kind of living off the land, and they might live in a cabin somewhere. Those are the best people in Minnesota, alright? Like the people who live and are very handy and live kind of, a little bit off the grid, not totally, but, kind of live a little more. And there's boomers who do this shit too, where they'll have a vacation home. And I wouldn't say those as much. If you're from Minnesota, you'll kind of know, where to kind of avoid people and things like that and whatever. Kind of work your way through. But there's certain places where there's really, really intelligent people. But for the most part, it's in the cities, you have the most extreme leftist, but they're also the most super, super cuckolded leftists. We're talking about Minnesota. This is where, Marco Rubio won the Republican, he won, the primaries. I'm tired still, I'm sorry, but he won in Minnesota. He was the only state the only state that Rubio won was Minnesota, because Democrats in Minnesota, it's basically you don't need to really pre-register. From what I understand, it's an open primary or whatever, so he's going to be I'm Democrat or I'm Republican. So what happened was Democrats hated Trump, so they basically all false flagged the voting. And I had people who were there at the time, and they could, they told me this firsthand, that these people went and they were just oh, well, we can't let Trump win, so you go ahead, vote for somebody not Trump. So that's the only reason Rubio won, is that the fucking election was rigged by false flag voting so that Trump wouldn't get Minnesota in that. So that was pretty crazy. They're just so rabid, and they're just some of the worst. People will come and move from California to Minnesota. Liberals will come from California to Minnesota because they feel more at home here. So that should tell you just how fucking awful it is. I think the state is on a decline. And I could tell you, honestly, it is going to continue to get worse there. I do not want to go back and ever live there. I feel bad for my family that does live there still, because, they're okay right now. And I think that, depending on if some of my relatives who are my age continue to live there and have families there. Well, I mean, it depends, but the state is definitely on a downward trend, and I think we're definitely going to be seeing more, as the immigration worsens. They just elected totally insane, mentally ill, cross-dressing transsexuals to their city council. That's all they care about. There was a guy who ran for mayor last year in my hometown who was a convicted criminal, convicted of numerous theft, fraud, all this different stuff. Super criminal, drug, all this bad stuff. But he was gay, and he was black, and he wasn't even transsexual. He was just gay, and he wore women's clothing. And that was his entire platform. He just came out and he was like, we be needing more gay blacks. We be needing some gay blacks you dig what I'm saying? And people were just like, oh yes, I'm a white boomer who's never had to face any sort of diversity in my life, and that just seems so progressive. Hashtag still with her. Oh God. It's not good. It's not good, but that's pretty much just my take on it. The state's probably fucked, and Hollywood is fucked, and fuck Hollywood, and I love you all very much for tuning in for another episode of Egg Wars. Thank you so much for being here with me today. It means a lot to me, and you're super awesome and super cool, and I love you. And shout out to all the new subscribers. I don't know who linked the install video had to have gotten linked somewhere yesterday because it was higher number of views than usual, so whoever and whatever, much love to all y'all. I'm gonna start putting my Snapchat and my Steam in the description as well, just cause, hey, why not meet some more of you lovely people that, are maybe newer to the channel, find ways to kind of see what's up. And otherwise, my dudes, I'll catch you next time on Egg Wars. Peace out.
Sounds from the void.